Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Merry Christmas. Sorry, I'm actually eating. I don't really call them gingerbread cookies. I suppose maybe Americans would call them peppercorn kid. They're called here, with chocolate on them. And I'm drinking coffee. Christmas has sort of already started here. It is Lilljulafton, Little Christmas Eve. Yes, they have an Eve for the Christmas Eve. Not just Christmas and then Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve's Eve, the Little Christmas Eve. So there you go. I have noticed Gudbrand is trying to join the Discord channel. I've never quite understood how this works. How do patrons get access to the... Whoa! Oh, FK is one of the moderators. Oh, dear. I was playing around with new alerts and forgot to change them. Thank you for the resub. Yeah, I was trying out some Christmas alerts earlier. But yeah, I keep meaning to sort of find out all the details and get a video made about how the step-by-step thing you do through that links through your... Right. There is a step-by-step thing you go through that links your Patreon and Discord accounts. Right. I need to get a video out on that step-by-step process. So Wolfclaw, if you could link me to something... Oh, we're getting lots of resubs now. Thank you for the resubs, Nathan Petty and Torched Cobra. Okay, that's the link. Right. Okay. Oh, God. I'm going to try and make a video about it before I do the next Q&A stream so that you guys could definitely get connected. Sorry, I got a hiccup. Icky Robot. I should probably turn the alerts off, actually, for the Patreon-only stream. I was just testing some things out earlier. Wish you could sub. Twitch hates my CC. So let's try and focus on the. I'm taking my headphones off so that the alerts don't disturb me too much. Let's focus on the patrons, as they are the ones I'm here to talk to right now. Not that I'm ignoring everyone else. So. Jean-Cly said, first question, because he wanted to be first. It's a thing. First, since you managed to finish The Outer Worlds, what will the next game be? Skyrim! This is actually true. I was working through... I've done the first 16 episodes of Skyrim. I think it's 16 episodes. I'm pretty sure it's 16 episodes of Chapter 6. I did them before I started The Outer Worlds because I wanted to make sure I had that buffer. And I got to a point where I knew I could pick up after... Because I've got a theme going and I wanted to get to a certain point so that when I came back to it after playing The Outer Worlds, I'd be able to jump right back in and go. And I managed to get there, so I was really, really happy with that. Let me just have a look. Chapter 6. Yeah, I've got up to episode 16, and of course there are 2 Hearthfire episodes, so... But I need to finish that chapter off. That chapter is nowhere near finished, so that is what I'm going to be finishing. Snake Doctor, you have a lot on your schedule right now, but are you planning on going back to play the From the Ashes DLC? I know, I've already played From the Ashes on an alternate save, and I don't really think it's one that particularly requires requires a let's play. It really is a fairly basic quest. I mean, there's a few quests I didn't do in my let's play. I didn't do any thieving quests, really. And there's a few other quests. There's even some... what was it? The Hans Capon's Amorous Adventures. There was a few quests in there that were missed because I played a Henry who wasn't a criminal. So I've done all of those. And thoroughly enjoyed them. Thoroughly enjoyed them. So yeah, I've played it. I just probably will not be making a Let's Play of it. I just don't. At this point, I'm not totally sure anyone would care too much. I don't know if you've played it. It's a good DLC. It's a good excuse for spending money, and it's nice to see the town get rebuilt. But there's not really a lot to it beyond running around getting enough money and buying stuff. It's a fairly basic one. Have I spoken about this already? Of all your Let's Plays, which one is your all-time favourite? It depends what you mean. It does depend what you mean. I would say the one I'm the proudest of, probably the Richard one. Just because of the way it unfolded and the development and the changes I went through during that Let's Play. I think the Richard Let's Play is where I started to Let's Play the way I do now. And it's led to the Leonard Let's Play. And I'm loving the Leonard's Let's Play. I'm enjoying Leonard more than Richard, though. God, it's so much more fun to play a bad guy. Jack was probably one of the most fun. But my favourite Let's Plays... do you know what I did enjoy? The Stanley Parable. This is a story of a man named Stanley. I loved arguing with that. But there's been plenty of them. I don't know, to be honest. It's a tough question. It does very much depend on what you mean, whether it's proud of or enjoyed, you know. But Richard is the one I think of when I think, right, you know what? That was me telling a story. So... Minecraft has changed a lot since you created Minion Land. Will you go back and play a new Minecraft stream alone or with Che? Oh, well, I say this every year, don't I? I do intend to go back to Minecraft and just do a tour or something. I actually want to take my son around the server. I'm not sure whether I'd do that on a live stream or whether I would do it on a... I would record it myself. Apparently now, there is, on the Xbox, PC Minecraft. And I don't know if he can then connect to the server. Probably not. He probably can't connect to the server because I think we need all the same mods. Do we need the mods or do you just need the right version? I'm not sure because I'd love to take him around that server, him on the Xbox, me on the PC. But I think I'd do that on a recording, not on a stream, because obviously I want to be able to edit that quite strongly. Because he's so into Minecraft now, it's bizarre. But, yeah, I need to update my Minecraft. FinNews, have you time to check the updated Legacy of the Dragonborn? No, I mean, the thing is with that is that is going to require several weeks to convert Leonard. And I think what I want to do is make sure that there's no vanilla content left to do. I want to make sure that if I do break something, it doesn't break Leonard beyond the ability to play. So it's going to take me a long time to do. And I really do feel what I want to do is get to a point where when Leonard continues, he continues in other places. The questions are coming. Guys, can you slow down with the questions? Because at the moment, we're getting way ahead. Any horror Let's Plays in the horizon? A Plague Tale. Oh, to finish off with FinUser, I can't check the updated Legacy of the Dragonborn without doing an update because the only real way to check Legacy of the Dragonborn is to play. It really is, and that would take months in of itself. So it would actually probably take less time to check it out by converting Leonard. I am going to do that, though. I am going to at least make the attempt, even though none of you should. Horror Let's Plays. Plague Tale is one I'm thinking of, but again, we're in the territory of if I have time. Same is true of Greedfall. I mean, I've not really seen much about that. I've not been paying much attention to it, but I've got a long list of games that I'd like to play. I mean, I might play Greedfall. That's possibly one that I play for myself. It's kind of like the new Jedi game. I think Plague Tale is one of those short games, isn't it? So that might be a good candidate for a quick, short Let's Play. Right, so Gudbrand is really not able to link Patreon at the moment. Okay, that is a shame. Is that a Patreon problem at the moment? Or do I really need to make a video? I probably really need to make a video. His only question regarding a possible cover will make a heavily modded FO4 LP. Yeah, but that's years away, I think. I'm going to finish my Fallout 4 VR playthrough, which is the Brotherhood playthrough. But that's on hold at the moment. Well, it was on hold because of the Outer Worlds causing me a lot of strain with the eyes. So it actually made playing VR a little uncomfortable because my eyes were always tired. I may get back into that once Christmas is over and finish that. I want to finish the Brotherhood playthrough. Fallout 4, a fully modded, normal playthrough, as in not VR. It's possible that's going to be something I do in a few years. It will be kind of like I did with the Leonard Let's Play. I was away from Skyrim for a while and then I got the urge to play and go back. So yes, but it will be a while. Now, when Skyblivion is nigh, well, sort of nigh-ish, have you started thinking about what sort of character you will play? Yes and no. Yes and... Oh, the little ticks. Are these like ticks? Is this Wolfclaw? Is he ticking things as I read them and answer them? Good grief, he's on the ball tonight, isn't he? Hey, look at that. Look at that. Or someone is. With Skyblivion, I think I probably want to do one playthrough for the Let's Play and do as much as possible. And that's always tough to do with a role-play character. I mean, how do you play someone who becomes a fighter, a thief, a mage, etc., etc.? It's not that easy. So I'd have to think of either which bits of the Oblivion content I wanted to engage with, what sort of character I wanted to engage with it, and, you know, then come up with a character that could do as much as possible. Because I don't see myself doing 2 Skyblivion Let's Plays. I might do multiple playthroughs, but Let's Plays would be 1. So I don't honestly know. I do not know. And if you mean what sort of build, or do you mean whether I want to play a good guy, a bad guy? It's just, I do not know. Will I play the Stanley Parable pseudo-sequel remaster in 2020? Let's put that as a yes. I didn't even know there was one. I did not know there was one, but yes, and I would probably let's play that. That was such a good game. Have I seen the Halo series is available for PC via Steam? Any chance of a Let's Play? 0 chance of a Let's Play. It's the sort of game that might get on the stream channel. I'd heard about the Halo series coming to PC, and I am curious. I do like shooters, but it's not really Let's Play material. Even games like Metro Exodus, which is heavily story-driven and atmosphere-driven, even that is not the sort of series that seems to do well on my channel anyway. But a straight up basic shooter, I don't think that's going to make. I don't really feel it makes a very good Let's Play anyway for my main channel. As a stream game, maybe. I think there's a clear difference between what I can play on streams with audience participation and with me not being in character that much, and games that I put on my main channel. I think for my main channel, I'm looking for games that really let me sink into the character. Whereas from what I remember, I did play Halo 1. There's a story, but it's about shooting stuff. So... Hello, Grover. Do you have any inside connection with Skyblivion, and would you have a better idea when it actually came out? No, I do not have an inside connection. I have some contact with some of the devs in that I think some of them are on my friends list. And I am on the Discord channel, and I pay attention to it occasionally. I try not to... I'm always a little reluctant to just start contacting these guys and say, you know, hey, give me the inside scoop for when it's coming out, because I feel sometimes, I mean, if I was just a mod maker, I probably would, but I sometimes feel that it can be a little... I don't know. I would suspect some teams and some developers don't like YouTubers contacting them trying to get information from them, but they don't want to offend the YouTuber because they don't want negative publicity. And yeah, I always feel a little bit... So I tend to hang around in their Discords and keep up to date a little bit and let them throw questions at me if they need... If they need publicity, if they need someone to spread some word for them, they can contact me, and that's, I think, a better way round of doing it. But I do try to follow it a little bit, and occasionally I will perhaps send them a question or two, but it's very occasionally. Nuclear Nautilus, you always manage to end episodes on a good joke or a funny line. Do you plan this, or is it just a happy accident? Well, it's not a plan, but neither is it a happy accident. I tend to be very aware of time when I'm making these recordings now, so I have... Well, here's the thing, right? When you play a game, you suddenly need the toilet, you just pause the game and you run off. You need lunch, you run off. You suddenly have to go somewhere, you run off. I really don't... I try to avoid that. You know, sometimes it can't be helped. Occasionally you get a phone call or there's a knock at the door and I have to pause it, and then I have to sort of edit it in a way that looks like I didn't pause it because I want to keep the narrative going, you know. For the endings, I will probably have a vague idea that I'm coming to a natural break. I will have some sort of natural feeling for it. And so occasionally something will happen. Some really annoying thing or really funny thing will happen, and I'll just know to myself. I'll just know, okay, that's either the end of an episode or it's a natural break point. It's something like this. And I'll just know that I can sort of stop the recording, pause the game, save it, go get lunch, if that makes sense. It's not always on a funny point. It's not always on an exciting point. Sometimes it's just, I've finished a quest and now it's time to go shopping, and I can press escape, pause the game, go get lunch, do real life stuff. So when I do recordings, I record in chunks, and there are natural breakpoints. Probably, you know, about a third of the time, the natural breakpoint is where I'll end it. But more often what will actually happen is I will go back a minute or two. So, for example, if I'm in a conversation with an NPC, a quest giver gives me... I submit the quest giver says something really annoying, really funny, I respond. The conversation carries on after that for maybe 2 minutes. I might look at that 2 minutes of conversation and think nothing was added to the video. I'll end the video there. So I'll trim 2 minutes of conversation just to get to this point where realistically you kind of know what the rest's going to be. It's, you know, it's just going to be the goodbye section. And I feel like sometimes ending at the main point works better than showing the entire conversation. So it's not an accident, but it's not planned. It's something that tends to happen in post-editing. I'm rambling a bit right now, aren't I? So I'm essentially going back until I find a point where I think, yeah, that's a good point to end. Sometimes I'll actually end it in the middle though. So I don't even know when I'm doing it. This has happened in the Outer Worlds a few times where I'll get it and I'll be editing it and I'll find a part like, nope, that's a good point to end, and I'll just cut the video there. And then I'll still have 10, 15 minutes of footage left and I'll put that on the next video. So yeah, somewhere in between. Bit rambly that. Do I ever think X one of my characters would have reacted differently here when playing Skyrim or Fallout again? Do I ever think one of my characters would have reacted differently here when playing Skyrim? I'm usually, when I'm at a place, I try not to think of what other characters would have done. Maybe when editing I do. Maybe when editing. But not so much while I'm playing. There have been moments, sometimes actually in Skyrim, where I'll pick an option. This has happened once or twice with Leonard. This is one of those things that I'll probably discuss when I do my breakdown of how to make Let's Plays or how I make them, where I've selected a choice and I realise, no, that's not what Leonard would pick. Because I'm tired of something, or I got distracted, or I'm annoyed by something, and I've sat down and I've started, and I get 5 minutes into it and think, no. You're playing like Gopher, not Leonard. And what I'll generally do then is I'll just stop, reload the game, delete all the footage, go do something, I don't know, get lunch, come back, and, just say, right, no. Remember, you're Leonard. This is one of the reasons I've started to try and do my Let's Plays separately. So I don't do, say, Skyrim and Kingdom Come Deliverance simultaneously. I'm not playing them. I may upload them at the same time, but I don't play them at the same time anymore, to try and restrict the possibility of character bleed, where I'll make a decision that's more like Henry and less like Leonard, if that makes sense. New Stalker aiming for release of 2021. Have you considered finishing the third game sometime next year in preparation for it? I've considered it. I've even got it installed. I do need to look for mods that are not Misery. But it is a matter of time, isn't it? I mean, next year could be a busy year. I mean, I finished The Outer Worlds, but I'm thinking it's like 63, 64 episodes, which means we've got another 40 episodes. And even though Christmas is going to be a few more videos, it's still 3 a week for The Outer Worlds, which means we're looking at several more months of that being uploaded. Yeah. Any chance of me streaming Phoenix Point by the creators of XCOM? Similar game. Yeah, probably. Very probably. But again, long list of games I want to stream as well. Blue Dragon, 2 questions. What got you into making videos on YouTube? 2, do you have any recommendations for someone who wants to start a YouTube channel? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Have I never made a video about this? I may have a long time ago. What got me into making videos on YouTube was trying to make tutorials for people installing Fallout New Vegas mods, and pretty much constantly coming to my mod pages saying, is this mod compatible with that mod or this mod? Especially when the mods they were talking about were all my mods. And I'm like, yeah, I made them all. And very often people were very confused as to how on earth they could install all of these mods. And I was answering the same questions over and over and over and over again. And I thought to myself, you know what? I will make a nice little written tutorial. And I was planning to make a written tutorial, but I thought, you know what? At the same time, some people don't learn from written documents very well, myself included. I can read really well, but I tend to learn better by doing. So I thought, I'll do a video that goes along with it, and I'll upload it to Nexus Mods. This was back in the day before I really thought of YouTube as a thing. And all of the videos had to be less than a certain size to upload to Nexus, because Nexus had a massive, had a very small file size potential. I was going to say a massive restriction on how big the file was. So, because I wanted high definition versions as well, I did upload them to YouTube and put them as a link from the Nexus page. But my thinking at the time was to have all of this on Nexus. And I just had the high definition versions on YouTube and had this series of tutorials, and that's how it started. The YouTube videos were a side thought as a way to support my modding and then the modding tutorials on Nexus Mods, which is Really funny when you think about it. And my advice for starting a YouTube channel, don't think about it. I mean, the basic advice is always make sure you've got a good microphone. And then there's tons of advice that people will give you, but it's always advice from how to be them. You know, it's always like, be yourself. But then some people will say, but don't be yourself. Be a better version of yourself, or be genuine, but don't be completely yourself. You know, because we've all got like that. So there's tons and tons of pieces of advice that just wouldn't work. What I would say is make videos you love making. If you make videos looking for views, you won't get them. If you sit down and think, all right, I'm going to make mod showcases because mod showcases are popular right now, and then you make them, you won't put the passion into it. That's why, I mean, that's one of the reasons I ended up stopping making the mod showcases, because towards the end, after like 100 and something videos, I was going through the motions. I much rather make showcases for, say, Skyrim Mod Sanctuary. When a mod comes along and makes me go, I really want to share this with everyone, or give everyone my opinion on this, like Inigo, that type of thing. But when I first started making the mod showcases for Skyrim, it could be anything. Like, look at these swords I found. Look at this armor I found. And I was really excited about it. But now I've got to the point in Skyrim where I might see a set of armor, but it's very rare I'm going to see a set of armor where I can get really passionate about it. Even if I think it's brilliant armor, I'd be like, this is a superb piece of armor. It's just, it gets to the point where you're going, and here it is. And I always feel like, well, there's not a lot else you need from me. There's the armor. Look how good it is. And you also find yourself wanting to try and overcompensate for that by being more, I don't know, larger than life, and it becomes a spiral where you're making things that you don't feel are useful, but you're doing it because it's expected of you. Don't do that. Make the videos you want to make, and if they're successful, you're lucky. If they're not successful, at least you made videos you love making. What is my favourite mod from any past Let's Play? Inigo. I think, yeah. Favourite mod. I mean, essential mods, there's loads of them. Okay, when you've finished your South Park antics, what's next on the solo stream list? Don't know. Do not know. I've got plenty of games that I could play. There's a few things like Oxenfree, and there's like a medieval city builder that could be interesting. You're obviously a master at Skyrim and role-playing, but how much of Leonard was planned out in advance and how much was built on the fly? A lot of Leonard was planned in advance, but there were some options with Leonard, and I wasn't really sure which direction I was going to go with him until almost the last minute. There was a side of me thinking of making Leonard incompetent, not necessarily evil, but making him incompetent. You know, like really just make an incompetent thief. Because I've never been caught and sent to jail in any of these games, right? I just never have. Play Skyrim, always pay the dues, or escape, right? And I thought, like, would it be funny to have an incompetent one? But I ruled that out because it would be funny for a short while. I did contemplate the idea of Leonard being an absolute psychopath, and this was before I even had names, so it wouldn't really have been Leonard. I think the name Leonard came about once I came up with the character, but I was thinking of a thief character. I was thinking maybe a total psychopath, someone who was, you know, really not callous or a sociopath like Leonard, because Leonard is evil through and through, and he is a sociopath, but like someone who's just truly monstrously twisted. But then again, I generally avoid the sort of cartoonishly bad characters, although you could argue Barry was cartoonishly bad. So yeah, Leonard, there was a lot of thinking backwards and forwards, and I finally decided I would go for somebody who was definitely a bad guy, but who was once again sort of ill-equipped for a lot of the content. So in a way, similar to Richard in that, ill-equipped. I wanted a character that was a city dweller because I'd done so much content in Skyrim that was dungeon crawling. So a lot of it was planned. But there were things that were not planned with Leonard. Inigo was definitely not planned with Leonard at all. The idea of being the Thane of Everywhere, not planned. I think I'd got as far as thinking I'll do the thieves and I'll do the assassins quest line. But beyond that, I didn't really have more. I don't think I ever thought Leonard would go more than 3 or 4 chapters, really. Or at least I don't think I had any concrete ideas for it. Maybe I'd do some thief-type DLC. But it's amazing how much content you can line up with a character who wants to gain power and social standing. I never really thought about it until I was playing. So a lot of it has unfolded as I went along. So the answer is some of it was planned, but a lot of it has been built on the fly, and a lot of the chapter plans get changed. Chapter 5 is completely different to where I thought it was going to go. Chapter 5 is completely... When I did that prelude and started the first 2 episodes, I had this thought of where I was going, and it wasn't until I'd done 3 or 4 episodes where I suddenly had like that little thing at the back of your mind jogs your memory and you think, oh, no. If I go in this direction, it'll take Leonard down a path I don't want to take him down, sort of thing. And then had to totally and utterly... I had to do a lot of tap dancing in Chapter 5 to figure out where I was really going to take it. But in the end, I quite liked how Chapter 5 went. Chapter 5 was one of those ones where I really did imagine I was going to do something pretty big and pretty major, and it ended up being a relatively short chapter, but it was a chapter that actually set up the idea of let's not mess with dragons. So, some voiceover jobs incoming, not that I know of. Which character of your Let's Play do you identify the most? Either as yourself, ideal, I don't know. All of the above. The sense of humour in all of my characters is kind of me-ish. But we're all fairly complicated people, aren't we? We're all fairly... I'm not Leonard. I am, like, so not Leonard. I would walk out of the house in a sackcloth, not caring. Just do not care at all. I am definitely not Leonard from the point of view of say, the fashion thing. But I obviously have Leonard's sense of humour. I have this urge to be snarky and sarcastic. So that side of things. I'm not Richard, in that Richard, well, I don't know, actually maybe I'm Richard in many ways. I can be pedantic at times. I have to concentrate on not being pedantic, especially if someone's being annoying. If someone's trying to be clever, and they think they're being clever, I will sometimes get that urge to be pedantic. I can be very Jack. I'm the sort of person who does not pick fights at all. I do not pick fights with people, but I get very, very conflict oriented if people pick fights with me. So I'm one of these peacemakers. I'm one of these people who's just like, no, let's sort this out. But if I feel like someone's having a go at me, I go full on snark. I go full on. I'm just, I'm a very. No, I guess you would, from a fighting perspective, you would call me a counterpuncher. So that's Jack through and through, right? I mean, Jack's not exactly I wouldn't say he's not nice. Jack was not heroic, and he definitely had criminal tendencies, but he wasn't, you know, he had a healthy respect for people and, you know, personal freedom and sort of that type of thing. Bit of a libertarian streak in him. And if you've been watching my Outer Worlds playthrough, Montgomery's got that kind of streak of libertarianism in that I do share. I have a very mixed and almost conflicted personal ideology. I'm one of these people who sort of instinctively wants to think of the world one way, but can rationally see it's not that way. And thus, I tend to temper my instincts with knowledge. Jack doesn't do that. He doesn't temper his instincts with knowledge. So all of my characters are a bit of me, but usually with something removed. With the Outer Worlds, do you feel that the level-based item system interfered with how much you imagined Montgomery's style and preferences? Yes, yes. I don't want to do too much of the Outer... I finished the Outer Worlds now, so you guys are not going to spoil it for me, but I do not want to spoil my Let's Play for you. And also, I am going to do a review, but I will tell you, the inventory system really did not impress me at all in the Outer Worlds. I don't like level-based weapon sort of things. It's like this Borderlands kind of vibe. I really feel at times the Outer Worlds lacked a sense of what game it wanted to be. So I was imagining it wanting to be Fallout New Vegas. And I'm going to say something really controversial right now. If I had to pick one Obsidian game to say that's their best game, I'm going to say it's Fallout New Vegas. Now, I've not played too many Obsidian games, but Fallout New Vegas, for me, is better than the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds, at some moments, felt like it was trying to be, I don't know, like it couldn't make its mind up what it wanted to be. Did it almost seem to want to go with a Mass Effect style companion system? And the item system almost looked a little, you know, with the levels and everything, like it was going for a more Borderlands system. And I will say right now, I could not stand the outfit choices. But I found the guns were great. I think the guns were brilliantly modelled. I've wanted a few more options, and I really would have preferred a totally different sound for most of the weapons. Most of the weapons sounded a bit pew 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 sort of thing. I mean, my disappointment when I first shot the vermin. I wanted to hear, I wanted to hear ringing in my ears afterwards. So, but the inventory, really just not hugely impressed with. There seemed to be a very, very stark set of choices, and a lot of the outfits, I'm going to say it, even though I've already just said I'm not the sort of person who cares about how I look in real life. There's a lot of ugly in that game. I mean, there was a serious amount of ugly. So, yeah. So it wasn't just the level-based thing. I wasn't impressed with the inventory. Or the idea that everything was level-based, and so in the end, tinkering became probably one of the best options. I have a feeling if I did a second playthrough, I'd go full on science and get tinkering maxed out and just pick decent weapons and armor early on and just keep it leveled up with me. I felt like I was always looking for something and never truly found it, really. Maybe later on in the game. Again, we're getting into spoiler territory for you guys now, and I don't want to spoil it too much. Because I do have a lot to say about that. Go for it. I know you said in the past you're a fan of the Deus Ex. One of the first videos was a tutorial for Human Revolution. And I know time is limited commodity, but I'd love to see you play that series. Yeah, again, that's a great series for me. But honestly, time. It's time. Let's face it, Cyberpunk, that's going to be filling that niche. Cyberpunk is going to be filling that niche. You know, if they make a System Shock 3, maybe we'll do something like that. But Deus Ex, I mean, there are so many of them at this point. I just don't have time. Maybe for streams, but, you know. Given your obvious love of guns in games, are you excited to play Red Dead Redemption 2 when it's worked out its PC bugs? Yeah, look, it's not just the guns and by I'm assuming you mean my love of cowboy or old-fashioned looking weapons. I do not know why I have that obsession, by the way. I don't know why. Maybe it started with Jack to some degree. I've always been I always prefer single-shot weapons in these games. I've always preferred single-shot weapons. But the Jack Let's Play, it sort of uncovered a deep love I have for things like lever-action weapons and revolvers and stuff that looks like it could be in an old cowboy movie. Don't know where it came from, but I just find them so cool. And so this seems to have translated into every game I play ever since. I do. So yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2, probably a natural game for me to play. Probably going to play it. And that's one I would like to Let's Play, although I do wonder if that's going to be too big and maybe too slow-paced for my channel. That's a tough one. Caught the video with me and Smart Blue Cat a while ago. Any other conversations you've had with him in the mod in general? No, although I'll tell you now, he was great. When I first started playing Inigo, I got a lot of comments saying, you're playing Inigo wrong, you're ruining him, you're not doing this, you're not getting the most out of him. And I immediately got a few messages from him via Nexus and then eventually on Discord where he was saying, please ignore everyone. Just keep doing what you're doing, right? And so I did. But he was really like, just. There are some people who want you to experience absolutely everything about Inigo, but that's not the point of Inigo. You're supposed to experience Inigo organically, naturally. So he told me to do that, which is what I was going to do anyway, even had he not. But it was nice that he contacted me. And I think he was worried that some of the fans of Inigo were going to actually turn me off of Inigo, and there was a danger of that, because I mean it wasn't that I wanted to hate Inigo, but there was a side of me that wanted to wind those people up. That's what you remember I said, there's something about that. I'm a bit of a counterpuncher. Once they started giving me the grief about this, there was a little side of me wanting to kill him off, just get him killed, just to see them melt down. I mean, I wouldn't have, and I'm glad I didn't, because he's hands down one of the greatest mods I've ever played, but there is that little side of me. But he contacted me, so yeah, had a little conversation with him. Do I have any experience playing Dungeons and Dragons? Yes, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was, I don't know, 11, something like that. D&D Basic, 2nd edition. I may have even played some 1st edition. I'm not sure. It's my memory's getting a bit vague when I go back that far. But yeah, played it to death. But played lots of other RPGs as well. A lot of others. Did it help my sense of storytelling and staying in character? No, I don't think so. When I was playing a lot of RPGs, I don't think I stayed in character very well. I naturally started to gravitate towards the dungeon master role later on as I grew into adulthood, and I think I became better at storytelling then. But I never really thought of it, and I didn't realize that I had this urge to be a storyteller until I started doing Let's Plays. I've always had it, probably. When I look back, you know, I've always had that kind of thing. You know, whenever I had to give a speech or something, for like some sort of society I was in at university, have a Christmas ball and I'd give a speech, I always tended to tell stories rather than give what you would. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. I would do everything as a story. It was a natural thing that came to me. So, but I didn't think about it at the time. When and if you start playing Mass Effect as a Let's Play, will I use mods like... I don't know. I don't know what that is. I did install Mass Effect and I installed some mods that made the graphics look a little better. So probably. Do I ever watch other people's Let's Plays? Nope. I don't have time. And I wouldn't let them influence my own anyway. I do not have time to watch other people's Let's Plays. I don't have that kind of time at all, I'm afraid. I'm still trying to catch up with things like The Walking Dead. Me and my girlfriend are watching Man in the High Castle, and we've got a long list of things we want to watch. We haven't even started the Witcher series yet. Oh, have you watched The Witcher on Netflix? If so, what are your thoughts? There you go. We're getting this question done as well. I haven't had time to do any of these things yet. That's the big problem. A big part of the problem is, I say big part of the problem is having kids. That makes it sound like the kids are a problem. But have I always enjoyed role playing, or was there a time when you wouldn't be bothered? It's mixed. Mix, I would say. It was a mix. But I enjoy role-playing way more when I'm Let's Playing because I can speak out loud without seeming quite as insane to my family. How do you keep yourself laughing during your Let's Plays? I have a very dry sense of humour in real life. And I've always been able to deadpan. I don't know if you guys know what that means, deadpan face. Where you say something you know is ridiculous, but you say it with a dead serious looking face, like you honestly believe it. I've always been able to do that. And it's one of those things, if I do it to strangers, they get that uncomfortable feeling of thinking that they're going, he's joking. I know he's joking, but his face is telling me he's not, sort of thing. But the other thing is there's this little side of me. I can play, say, as Montgomery or Leonard and know something is annoying Leonard to his core. But at the back of my head, I'm laughing at Leonard. So, and that's weird. I'm laughing at him in the back of my head. And I know it's funny. But I don't have any urge to laugh because I'm Leonard and I'm grumpy. And I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds weird. And it's like I can recognize that's probably where I'm going to end. But it's not because I'm thinking, yay, that's great. I'm currently Leonard and I'm thinking, sort of thing. It's really hard to explain. Will we ever see a return for Jack for a chapter or two? You might. I've got to rebuild the mod list. The mod list for Jack was on Nexus Mod Manager, and I've uninstalled it, and I did install a mod setup for Fallout New California, and I'm going to rebuild the Jack one, I hope, at some point. Have you ever rage quit mid-recording or rage quit a game you planned doing a playthrough of? Thief. I did about 7 episodes of it. There is a rant on my main channel. Thief. I quit Thief. Have you not seen that video? Have you not seen that video? Why I quit Thief? Oh, you need to go and watch that video. If you did not... That was me rage quitting a game quite publicly. But as a general rule, no. There's been 1 or 2 games where I've been glad to end, where I'm thinking, you know, I didn't enjoy it as much as I was hoping to, but I wanted to finish it because I've started it and I don't want to leave my viewers hanging. If the previous one was yes, do you still have footage of that? Oh, me rage quitting? Yeah, no, the Thief. Oh, and yeah, no, Thief, definitely. How possible is it for Dynalod tutorial once Gopher masters it himself? I don't think I'll ever master Dynalod. I use it and I rerun it every chapter usually. But I wouldn't consider myself a master at it. In fact, I mean, when I've seen other people's tutorials and I've followed them, and then I didn't get the results I wanted and ended up tweaking things myself. And a lot of people use 3D trees, and I was having so many problems getting 3D trees to look good for me. The big problem for me was always when running around, I would get popping that just didn't match. So it was a very obvious pop-in, and I ended up finding out that the 2D trees with the billboards, the 2D billboards, actually worked better for me. There was less noticeable pop-in, so I'm not sure I'm going to master it, is what I'm saying. I could still make a tutorial, but I might get like the experts coming along going, "You're doing it wrong!" And they would actually be right. Any chance you could add Lucian as a second companion? Maybe. Maybe. There is a problem with Leonard having two companions. There is a problem with Leonard having two companions, and that being one of... It's a bit of a crowd, considering who he is. Would have worked very, very well with Richard, probably. But yes, considered it. Maybe it'd be one of those ones where I'd consider adding it once I finished all the vanilla content and I start doing stuff like... Maybe I'm going to be doing Beyond Skyrim with Leonard. Because that's what I'm thinking. When I update Legacy of the Dragonborn, it'll be because I'm going to be heading off to do all the other things that will be outside of the main... That won't have me running around Solitude. Because, or even some of the other areas where Legacy of the Dragonborn could cause issues. Snake Doctor. So many games coming out in the first half of the year. Cyberpunk 2077. Vampire the Masquerade's Bloodlines 2. Dying Light 2. Probably others you can't think of. How on earth are you going to fit some of them and all of them into your play streaming schedules? I'm probably not. Dying Light may be one of those ones I stream, but I doubt I'll have time to let's play it. Vampire the Masquerade's Bloodlines 2. I almost feel like I have to let's play that. Because I did the first one. But what I really want to do is I want to do the first game. I actually want to get that on GOG because you don't need to patch it, do you? Because I've uninstalled all the mods and everything for the first game. So I might buy it. If I decide to do that again, I might buy it on GOG or contact them and get the key. Who is that? Somebody's now... Oh, is that... It's following? That's a little odd, isn't it? I've got following set up. Oh God, GOG, you say. But Cyberpunk definitely will be let's playing. I'm looking into making mods myself. I have no coding experience and relatively bad at installing them sometimes. Where would you suggest someone like me to start? Honestly, you want to start modding. The place to start is there a mod you want to make? Is there something that's annoying you to the point where you've got to change it? Because if not, I wouldn't bother making mods. Being a mod maker isn't about necessarily knowing stuff. It's about something... It's about getting an idea that you can't get out of your head. I can't remember who it was. I even commented on his video. It was a mod maker. And he just made a display case for something. I can't remember what he made a display case for. And one of the things he said in the video was, I've no idea why I made this mod. I've no idea why I made it. And I just responded to him and said, I know why you made it. Because you had an idea, and as soon as you had the idea, there was no way you were never going to do it. And that's, if you don't have that, you'll probably not make mods. Because it's a very, very time consuming and, well... frustrating experience at times. You need to learn a lot of different things, and it's not about coding. I mean, if you make complicated mods that have quests or dialogue, you're going to need to get coding. But for stuff like just changing textures or changing a model, you don't need coding. Making special equipment, you don't need coding, but you do need to learn several different tools. And it can be frustrating. And it's normally just the sort of person who sees something and thinks, no, I have to do it. You know, maybe you just don't see any player houses that you like, and so you start making one, and suddenly you realize you're Eleonora. You know, it's that kind of a thing. But there are plenty of tutorials. The place to start is the creation kit. If you're trying to mod Skyrim, it's the creation kit. If you're trying to mod Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, it's the GECK. You just play around with it, add items, but you've got to have something you really want to make. You need that desire. Are there any games you've played on your own that you regret not making into Let's Plays? I've not played that many games on my own recently. I mean, the last few years, I've just got a backlog of games that I wish I'd played. But I've not, because I thought maybe I'd Let's Play them. How much time do you put into YouTube recording and editing? How much is that compared to a normal job? On a week, recording, editing, just the recording and editing, 40 hours, maybe. It depends on the week, depends on what game I'm playing, but yeah, 35, 40 hours. That's a real rough guess, but that doesn't take into account like uploading the videos, making thumbnails, adding comments. Doesn't take into account streaming or anything like that. I mean, I'm currently doing about 70 hours a week. Probably minimum, actually, now that I think about it. It's a lot more time consuming than people think. A lot more time consuming. It's not what I would call a difficult job. The most difficult part of, say, Let's Playing is staying, what's the word? Boisterous, somebody covered before. One of the tricks one of the important things with Let's Playing and streaming is if you feel tired, don't do it. You know, in most jobs, like when I was a programmer, you could go, oh, I'm a bit fed up and I'm a bit tired today, but all right, and you got to work, don't you? You got to work. So you sit down and you just start coding and you do your thing, right? Don't do that. Don't do recording if you're doing a Let's Play. No. You gotta sit down, you gotta be in a good mood, and you gotta be alert. To stream or to do a Let's Play, if you're not alert, if you're not in a good mood, don't do it. Do not do it, because you'll waste your time. Or worse, you'll create stuff that is just not engaging. People can feel it. People can feel it. And I've done that a few times where I've just recorded something and I've got an hour into it and just thought, this is crap, and just delete it all. Started again and gone in a totally different direction, like the next day. You know, I've been playing and I thought, you know what, I can't even remember what I did. It's like have you ever read a book and you get like 10 pages into it and think, I have no idea what I just read. Like that. Little off topic, but topic. Are you a fan of music? I like music. I'm always reluctant to call myself a fan of anything nowadays because you always get someone coming along going, oh, well, if you're a fan, you should know this particular detail about something. You remember I said I was a fan of The Walking Dead and I accidentally called Rick Nick, mostly because I was playing Fallout 4 and got like Nick Valentine on the brain. And oh my God, people went ballistic. Says he's a fan of the game. Says Nick. When I say I'm a fan of the series, I mean I enjoy the series. You know, I'm a Star Wars fan, but like that just means I like Star Wars. So whenever I see the word fan now, I'm always a little like. But I like music, and I like a wide variety of music. I like classical music. I like metal. I like rap, hip hop. And there is very little music that I do not like. I didn't like the whole grungy phase that went through the student scene, you know. Was it Oasis, that group? I hated that. I hate that kind of thing. But I think a lot of that was because I just hated the people who liked that music. You know, you were playing South Park and you meet those goth kids who are so desperately trying to not conform, and they are the biggest conformists ever. I used to see so many people like that at university who used to mock anybody who wore, like, you just turn up in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt looking like normal, or you dress, God forbid, dress smart, and they were like really sort of very snarky about that when they're all sat with like these long jumpers that go way past their fingers, and they're wearing 1200 friendship bracelets, and they've got all messy hair, but it's messy hair that they spent an hour and a half making, and they've got all these strategically placed tattoos, and they're wearing a t-shirt over the jumper, and the t-shirt's got some mystical symbol on it that means something and has a story that they will tell you if you accidentally look at the shirt. But then they mock anyone else who cares about how they look. So there was that whole thing going on at the time. So maybe my appreciation of that music would have been different had I not been surrounded by fans of that music who made me want to commit massive acts of mass murder. I like Latino music. Love Latino music, especially some of the older stuff. I love silly music. Jazz, pretty much I'll listen to more or less anything. Do I have any plans for new merchandise items in the coming year? Probably. Would you ever play Dungeons and Dragons on your channel? You mean like a tabletop? I don't know. Maybe on a live stream, or did you mean like Neverwinter Nights or something? Because maybe. But again, we're on the whole if I get time thing. We're getting to about an hour, so final questions, gang. Wolfclaws laying down the law. Several years ago, I remember you talking about a game made by ex-modders where you got up to voice a character. No, it never got released, I don't think. They were trying to get, I think there's an early access version of it. I lost track of it. I did, it was by the Druidworks with the name. I lost track of it, to be honest. I did keep my eye on it, but not with any sort of seriousness. But I think they've shut down. They're not continuing on with it, which is a shame. Have you thought about how you're going to explain the changes to the Dragonborn gallery in version 5? Not asking for any spoilers. Yeah, elves. Magic elves. Magic elves. No. Probably what it would be I would do it in a chapter break. It would be that simple. I'd do it in a chapter break. So there'd be an end of a chapter, and then the next chapter would start, and there'd be a new museum, and there'd be a story behind it. The story would be, we've redecorated, or we've redone it. And if it's magically so very different that it's almost a different shape, then magic elves. Probably. I'll make it work. I will make it work. Don't worry about it. Could you, in a box, ever let's play a bumbling non-hero like Inspector Clouseau? Of course I could. Of course I could. I came close to playing an incompetent thief, but yeah. A bumbling non-hero. Jeremy the Tourist. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm assuming by non-hero you mean someone who's not necessarily a bad guy, but just not very good at being a good guy. Yeah, no, I could. The problem with doing that is finding a game where it would work, because most games by their very nature require you to be the hero. So, will I release my Deadly Dragons Resist Poison buff tweak sometime in the future? I suppose I could. It's not really that major thing. It really is only adding a small tweak to the poison resistance. And in fact, it's one that doesn't even make a huge amount of sense to me, because originally I was going to put it at like 75% poison resistance, but that made them totally immune. I ended up having to tweak it down to, I think it's like a 25 or 35, and that made them more or less completely immune, but they could take a little bit of damage. But I made it above that. I went a few percent over that. Suddenly, you kept getting the message, this dragon is immune to the poison. I was thinking, I don't... So there must be some other resist poison, but I couldn't actually find it. So, but it's not a huge buff, but it works well with deadly dragons to make those dragons ignore Leonard's poisons a lot. Which track did you use on the forest of Who's Laughing Now? Oh God, I can't. It's one of the free ones, the license-free ones you get on YouTube. I just wanted something that had like a bit of a rock, exciting theme to it, and I went through them until I found one I liked. And I can't remember what it was. I probably should list it, but it's not one of those songs that requires you mention it either. It's one of the ones YouTube says you can just use this any way you want. Am I ever going to release your? Are you ever going to release your personal ENB from Leonard playthrough? I don't know. I've not got it to my liking yet. I keep tweaking it. I really don't like sunsets and sunrises up near the throat of the world. And there are several other points where, especially when there's a lot of snow going on, it looks a little yellow, or the glow's not quite right. It's still like a gazillion times better than the vanilla game, but it just sometimes it's just the coloration's not quite right. Am I aware that I got a donation on Twitch? No, I didn't. And oh, Snake Doctor, thank you very much. Good night, Snake Doctor. And Merry Christmas. Any chance of us... Oh, wait a minute. Alamode first. Red Dead Redemption 2 has online. Would you play it? Consider playing with minions sort of like XCOM 2? Would I consider playing it online? Yeah, but how would I play that like XCOM 2? XCOM 2 wasn't multiplayer, and I didn't play with minions. I named the soldiers after minions, but I didn't actually play with the minions. But I might think about it. Although, is it a microtransaction game? Red Dead Redemption 2 online mode? Is it a microtransaction game? Because if so... All right, here we go. Silverthorn. Any chance of a special stream where minions make you play random weird games like I Am Bread or Goat Simulator? Again. I've already played I Am Bread, Goat Simulator, and even Hatterful Boyfriend. Maybe, but then I'd need to have the game. So it would have to be a game I had and had installed. And we sort of did that. In a way, South Park is the game I'm playing because everyone chose it. But I don't know, maybe? Maybe? What game are you most excited for next year aside from the Cyberpunk? Probably Vampire. Probably. Although not necessarily. I mean, because Starfield could come out next year. Could come out. Don't know. What are your favourite running jokes from your Let's Plays? Oh, you mean like jokes that go from one Let's Play to the next? Because you say every Fallout character hating music due to copyrights. I don't know, like favourite jokes, but like favourite repeated themes. The need to loot. One day I should roleplay a character who has no need to loot. Just doesn't need to scavenge. To be honest with you, the Outer Worlds would have been a good choice for that sort of character, because the Outer Worlds, there's almost no need to loot unless you want to get stuff to sell for tinkering. I think I finished the game with something like 12,000 rounds for every single weapon. It was like, you just pick up so much stuff. It's like everywhere. They might as well have just made the ammo unlimited. I guess the I'm a nosy person is another one of those running things from game to game, because sometimes you have to be a nosy person to play a lot of the game. It's very, one of the things that's quite hard in Let's Plays is finding reasons to do the things that you know as a gamer you want to do. I want to go over there and see if there is something to do, but I have no actual earthly role-playing reason for why I should. I know, I'm bloody nosy. It's a bit of a lazy reason, but honestly, without it, there's an awful lot of content in games would not get done in Let's Plays. Since you liked Dark Souls, have you played Remnant from the Ashes? It's an incredible game. No, I've not. Red Dead Redemption 2 does have microtransactions, but not needed to play. Yeah, right. You don't need to engage with the microtransactions to play Warframe either. And yet, after years of playing it, they finally tweaked the game in such a way that made me quit. They finally managed to and that's the problem with it. It's not whether it's needed to play, it's whether or not those microtransactions negatively affect the game. And whether or not that could change. And it always can. On an online game, it can always change. You make a posse and invite players to join, so you could invite from subscribers. I mean, like, I'm not ruling out the possibility of playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm just... online, I mean. Right now, I'm very anti-microtransaction games. And it's less about the fact that microtransactions are evil and microtransactions are a terrible way and they incite people to spend more money than they should, although those are all valid complaints. But my big complaint about microtransactions right now is they do have a nasty habit of ruining the game. And I don't just mean ruining the PR or ruining people's pocket, but like actually Warframe, they ruined that. I feel like the latest Warframe, at least that's the latest when I quit, Grendel was it? The acquisition of him was made deliberately, painfully, pitifully boring to try and drive you to buy the damned thing. And that, to me, is the big problem. I'd actually rather they had content locked behind a paywall. This is what, you know, like the DLC upgrade path. And a lot of people go, yeah, but it splits the community. I'd rather the community was split into two different sections of people having fun than all be one joined up continuous community of people bitching and complaining because it's boring as hell and grindy. So yeah, that's my worry with microtransactions now. I'm fed up of them. Ugh. Any favourite Christmas dishes? Treats or foods you simply must have on the table? Not really. Chocolate, sweeties, biscuits, wine, whiskey. I'm not a lover of Norwegian Christmas food. They have these traditional foods. There's like sausages, and they're like Christmas sausages, and they only eat them once a year. And like some of them are like really pale sausages, and some of them are darker red ones. But they're really fatty, and they're really low on taste, in my opinion. And I think the reason they only eat them once a year is because it's a tradition, not something they actually want to eat. They have this thing called medisterkaka. They're actually okay, but quite frankly, just give me carbonara or any other type of burger. It's just as good. Thank you very much. Standard shitkaka. Thank you very much. I'll take those. And they have like ribs, and I've never been a big lover of ribs because ribs just seem to be like a bone with a ton of fat on it and some meat somewhere if you can dig through it. I'm like, you know, if I was hungry enough, yeah, great. Give me a nice slice of turkey any day of the week. Any day of the week. And roast potatoes. Roast potatoes. Thoughts on the remaster of Resident Evil 2? I've never played a Resident Evil game. So, no real thoughts on it. I'm up to like Resident Evil 1296 or something, and then they went back to remastering number 1 and 2. I did try to play Resident Evil 1 once and got about half an hour into it, It gave off a vibe that was like Alone in the Dark. It reminded me of Alone in the Dark, but it just felt so clumsy. Would I do the remaster? Maybe, I suppose. But I've still got things like Evil Within installed that I keep meaning to play. That was a possible stream game. I know it's Play X game question, but do you have an intention of returning to stream Darkest Dungeon? I don't have any intentions. I don't have any intentions of playing Darkest Dungeon again. Would I do it? Maybe. But again, it's that list of things. There are so many games now. I'm going to be using my streams now to try new stuff, I think, where possible. Having said that, the next question is going to make a liar of me. How long are you and Che going to continue with The Forest? Till we get truly, truly epically bored. We do have a few planned events. We want to go to war, so we need to finish the game and get that device that lets us summon like thousands and thousands of things. It's because we want to have a war at the fortress with catapults. But we've actually decided the way we're going to end it is we're going to try and build a tower and a roller coaster and see if we can jump across the sinkhole. We're going to see if we can make a jump and get enough speed and get across the sinkhole. After that, would you consider using your GOG shield status to get Cyberpunk early so you get a head start? I don't know. Look, I don't know what they're going to do with Cyberpunk. They might even do something like they did with The Witcher 3 and have preview events, so maybe I'll get to try it. Any plans for the Wasteland 3 as a Let's Play or stream? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Wasteland 3, if it's like Wasteland 2, would actually be better as a stream. I think games that are isometric and played from above, where I end up reading that, especially if I have to read the NPC text as well, I think they work better on stream now. I actually think for my Let's Plays on my main channel, I should stick to first person. Probably first person, or at least like The Witcher was over the shoulder third person, but where you play one character and you're reasonably close to that character and it's a very sort of story driven, possibly role play experience. I think I'm going to try and stick to that. The occasional horror game, the occasional shooter if it's very story driven. But things like isometric games, I feel like they work better for streams. If cloning was a thing, how many clones would you make of yourself so you could play all these games? I mean, I would need a lot, wouldn't I? I know. Wolfclaws laying down the law again. Since the questions seem to be veering into the will you play X game and assorted silliness. Be honest, Wolfclaw. Have you been picking up some of my mannerisms? Or have you always been the sort of person who used terms like assorted silliness? Because I feel like that is something that may have seeped from me. Assorted silliness. Just sort of feels like the sort of thing I would say. Little of column A. A little column A, a little of column B. Yeah. Oh dear, oh dear. So, a short wrap-up of the year 2019. YouTube video of the soon past decade. Yeah, short wrap-up of 2019. I could make a video of that. But it would, let's face it, a short wrap up of the year of 2019 would be, hey, I played Metro, it was cool. I played a bit of Leonard, it was cool. And then Fallout 76 was a thing all the time, non-stop. Make it stop. So yeah, there's a VR mod for Alien Isolation. I've actually, yeah. Would that make a good stream game? Yeah, that's yeah for me. I mean, that even could be a Let's Play if VR Let's Plays were viewable. Although, I don't know, sometimes they feel like they are a little more Let's Playable now that I'm standing. And I have done a VR Let's Play of a horror-ish game. But yeah, no, VR mod for Alien Isolation, definitely something to try out once my eyes have recovered from the Outer Worlds. Can we get a Minions fake monthly? Maybe yearly video? Fake? Fake monthly? I don't get it. How thankful are you for your patrons, and how much do you wish them happy holidays? Is that a hint? Is that a hint for me to be more grateful to my patrons, or a hint for me to wrap this up and stop talking? Oh, since the decade is ending, what is your favourite gaming moment in the last 20 years? 10 years. It's 2009, 2009. Oh, I don't know. You'd probably come up with loads of them, and I'd think about them, and I'd go. But my guess is it would be something in Witcher 3. Although I don't know, actually, could be even like some of my favourite gaming moments. Could even be like The Witcher 1. Could even be like The Witcher 1. I don't want to ruin it too much, but the silver sword is for monsters moment in The Witcher 1, or the moment you get the medallion at the end and you realise who it was you were fighting all along. Those sort of things. I love those moments. You know. Things like leaving the vault in Fallout 3. For the first time ever, but that was like 2008, so that's not in the last 10 years. Oh, the monthly videos. That's why I'm doing the podcasts now. I'm doing the podcasts, the weekly podcasts, because it seems to be a better way of doing the updates, rather than for me trying to come up with an update video once a month where I go through a certain formula. I just do the podcast once a week and just answer all the questions that way. I'm feeling like the podcast thing is working at the moment. So, make a video of the mashups of the best moments in your Let's Plays of the decade. I could, but you've no idea how time-consuming that would be. Because I don't even remember where they are. Do you know the video I just made with me and Che? There were moments I was trying to find. There were moments I wanted to include in it. And I went through like 10, 15 videos, like hour-long videos, going through them. I spent an entire day trying to find it. Couldn't find half of them. Could not find half the moments. So I ended up just sticking with day one. Day one, this is how we were. And then today, here we are. It's amazing how hard it is to find, especially when your videos are like, got thousands and thousands of them. I'm willing to bet there are people out there have got a way better idea of where those moments are than I have. Second South Park game. Have I planned it already? I'll probably play it. I've been very surprised at how good South Park actually is. However, I think Quorico is correct. We've been at this for an hour and a half. I'm hearing quiet outside, which might mean my kids are in bed. I'm going to go and check. So, I think all that's left to do is, as Quorico pointed out, thank you, the patrons, for making this possible. It is as simple as that. When it comes down to it, you guys keep this channel afloat. You keep the entire thing as a possibility. Without you guys, I wouldn't really be able to do this. And for that, I am eternally grateful, because I do love doing this. I absolutely love doing this. Best job ever. Even if I do spend 70 hours a week on it, it's time I love spending. So a big thank you to you guys. And I hope I can keep delivering stuff that entertains you. I really do. So, and thank you to everyone who's in the Twitch chat for joining in and not really getting any attention. But I hope you guys understand that today was the Christmas stream for the patrons. I wasn't ignoring you deliberately. It's just, you know, this is for them. They are basically the bedrock upon which the channel is built. So yes, a Merry Christmas to all of you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing any recording for the next week and a half because I can't. But I have recorded everything I need, actually, on the Outer Worlds to go well into, I don't know, March or something, maybe even longer. And I'm ahead on the Skyrim as well, which is brilliant, which means I can get back to work in January and without any pressure, just start making the videos, start working on things. However, I may be still doing the occasional stream. I'm going to stream on Sunday. I'm planning to do South Park on Sunday. There's no Tuesday stream with Che, obviously, on neither day. But there may be some other streams. However, if I don't catch you before Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, holiday greetings, Guyul, whatever it is you're celebrating. Have lots of food and alcohol, not too much though. Enjoy yourselves, and I will see you guys next year. Don't put words in my mouth, Jean-Claude. I did not say get wasted. Slightly merry is okay. And get your Xmas merch while you can. It's probably a little late, isn't it? I mean, sure, buy it. Definitely. Don't argue with Quorico. I can't find the credits. I've not set up for the credits. Oh, mind you, I don't really need. We've got no way of crediting the patrons. I could scroll through all the patron list over here. Oh, you can't even see that. I've not even set it up so you can see it. God, I'm terrible at this. I really am, like, awful at this. Let me see. Can I do this? On the fly. Whee, look at that. Is the credit list, you see? I've tried and roll. If I unlock it, roll through it smoothly. That's not smoothly, is it? It's not smoothly at all. Here's the credit list. Oh, I'm such an amateur at this. I really, really am. Thank you to all of those people. Zervaner, confusion intensifies. Fair enough.